What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters Live. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another stream where we get together as a community and try to do something cool, talk about some interesting topic, or just geek out on Emacs. And today is just another one of those streams. We're going to be talking about how you can configure a window manager called Herbstluft Window Manager. I'm not saying that right. Sorry, but we're going to configure it with Emacs Lisp. So we're going to see how that goes today. I believe it's going to be pretty straightforward, but let's just see what happens. I'd like to say hello to some folks who have joined us so far. Pavel, GK Sudo, Ashraz, Valentino, Emacs Enjoyer, Fade, Gun, nice to see you. Just in time, back from Belgium. Nice to see you here. Well, let's see, what do we got to say about updates? Well, as far as like my general adventures in trying to become a, person with a normal life in Greece, still not there yet. I'm supposed to be signing papers on the house, and I think I probably said that the last 2 streams, and it still hasn't happened yet, but it's gonna happen, and then finally I'll be able to have a stable environment, which would be nice, but that should be happening soon. Hello to Amalvedia, Benoit, Case, Prisma Void. Loved all the videos. This is my first stream. Well, nice to have you. Thanks for joining. So, the real updates. First of all, I've replaced EXWM with Herbstluft Window Manager in my configuration, and I really like it. I've been hacking on it for probably 2 weeks, but not really significantly. It's been more just some experimentations, or just at least getting things back to a state where it's sort of like what I had with my EXWM configuration. Now, obviously, because it's not EXWM, it's not highly integrated with the Emacs experience, but part of what we're going to try to do today should help with that. I don't know how far we'll get, but the idea is that if we can script the behavior of this window manager from Emacs, and it's almost as good as having an Emacs-based window manager. Hello to Eric and Gavin. So I have not made a video about this window manager yet on the channel, but I do intend to make sort of like a complete end-to-end tutorial on how to configure and use it at some point. I don't exactly know when that will be yet because my life and schedule is a little bit chaotic these days. But I do want to do an actual video on it because I really like it. I think it's probably one of the better tiling window managers out there, and it's a lot of fun to use. I quite like using it these days. So the next video that I'm actually going to do will be about how I show presentation slides in org mode with the org present package, just like I do in my videos and my streams, just like what you're seeing right now. I get that question all the time, so I figured it's probably a good time to go and set up a video about that. I mean, I've already got a video about how to do presentations in org mode with a package called org tree slide, but org present is a bit more interesting because out of the box is very minimal, and you have to do some extra configuration to it. So it makes sense to make a video showing you how I configured it, and maybe you can use that as a springboard for making your own presentation style in Emacs if you have to do these kinds of things yourself. Pavel says, strange season for autumn air. Yes, well, it's a very, I mean, it's a nice sounding name, like autumn air. Very, very nice, very, very cozy, I guess you could say. But the pronunciation of a word in German is not very easy for a person like me. Benoit says, tried OX reveal. I've tried using it a couple times. Every time I try to use like one of the presentation exporters in org mode, it just never really works for me. I mean, I'm sure it would work if I actually tried, but I haven't tried hard enough. But I like presenting in Emacs enough that I really haven't tried to use org reveal. GK Suda says, just in time, David switches away from EXWM, Gavin switches back to EXWM. Did Gavin switch back to EXWM? Was Gavin using EXWM? I don't remember. Hello to Ethan. All right, so that's it for what the next video will be. I've got ideas for more videos, but it's been hard maintaining motivation these days with all the things going on in personal life. So we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming, hopefully in the very near future. Okay, so configuring Herbstluft window manager with Emacs Lisp. So we're going to try to write an Emacs Lisp package that can control the venerable Herbstluft window manager. So the thing that's interesting about this window manager is that you configure it using a command line utility called Herbst client. And all of the actual configuration for the window manager is done using this command line utility. And even while the window manager is running, you can control things about it. You can change workspaces, you can cause window splits, you can do pretty much anything you want. You can even change like the color theme in real time. Everything is open to you through using this command line utility. And an interesting implication of this is that because the configuration is done with this command line utility, the actual way that you write a configuration script for Herbstluft window manager is by writing a script in whatever language that you use for scripting, like Bash. Bash is sort of the primary language that people use for writing configuration scripts for this window manager. But you could use Python, you could use JavaScript, or you could use something like Emacs Lisp. So that's what we're going to try to do today, is write a package that makes it, I guess, like have a more ergonomic configuration interface for Herbstluft window manager than just calling commands to a command line utility. So I think it'd be kind of fun to try to do that because it's pretty straightforward. I mean, calling command line programs from Emacs is very easy, so I think we should be able to build something up fast, I believe. Hello to Bill and to Rostislav. Nice to see you. Eric says, so it's similar to BSPWM, but it's different in some way. Yes, so BSPWM is another window manager that does this. The one major difference between the two is that BSPWM does not give you the ability to set key bindings using its configuration interface. You actually have to use a different program for that. And honestly, I understand why they do that, because it's sort of like with the Unix philosophy where you have one program that does one thing. A window manager should not necessarily be in charge of setting or managing the setting of key bindings in the X window session. But it's just more convenient, in my opinion, if you have one command that you use across the board for everything. So it's a bit better in that regard. Case says BSPWM is inspired by Herbstluft, as far as he knows. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Let's see. And, you know, there's a very real possibility that someone's already written a package for this, but I have intentionally not gone to look for one because I don't want to be contaminated in terms of what ideas I have for hacking on this. I want us to kind of think about it together while we are on the stream. Ethan says, have you tried the Qtile window manager? I have not. I've heard people talk about it a lot, but I have not personally tried it. Stupid to say, but is mainly because it uses Python for the configuration language, and for whatever reason I just haven't used it because of that. But there's no reason why I should avoid it for that reason. Let's see. And Gun says i3wm allows setting key bindings through a command line utility, I'm sure. Yeah, i3 does let you set some things, but it's not exactly like Herbstluft. I think that Herbstluft is more configurable through command line interface based on what I've heard, because i3 does have its own configuration syntax. So that's another thing I like more about Herbstluft compared to i3, is that with i3 you have to use their configuration syntax, but with Herbstluft you can call the command line program using whatever language you want, so you have a lot more control about how you configure it. So I think it's kind of interesting. Hello to Alex. Alex, I saw your message and I have not responded to it yet because I'm terrible about not responding to messages, but I will respond to you. I apologize for that. But Alex says, I've got COVID and I'm bedbound, but I'm on an Emacs bender thanks to you. Well, I hope you feel better soon. Let's see. Prism Void says, I know HLWM has a command to manually set the window layout, but would it be possible to have an Emacs frame in the background and automatically clone the Emacs window layout? I suppose so. You could do that. I don't know if it would get really annoying though. Vickery says your EXWM config getting cooler time by time. Well, we're out of EXWM now. We're here in Herbstluft Window Manager. Okay, so what else do I want to say here? Yeah, so basically you can write the configuration file script for Herbstluft Window Manager so long as you can create a script file that is executable and is in the expected configuration path, or you can use the -c parameter to point it to a different path, and make sure that you've used chmod plus x, or set the executable bit on the script so that it can be executed. Then that should be enough for that to be used as a configuration file, which is pretty cool. So what we'll try to do is build a configuration package and then write a simple configuration script in Emacs Lisp. So we'll try to build the package first, and we're going to be poking around with my actual running Herbstluft Window Manager session, which is dangerous, but you know, we like to live on the edge, so that's what we're going to do. Paul Victor says something like Stump WM, but Bash. Well, Stump is, I mean, yeah, there's the Stumpish command line utility for running stuff in Stump, but Stump is a lot more like Emacs than Herbstluft Window Manager is, for sure. Okay, so here's a few things we're going to try to script. We're definitely going to try to set change settings variables, and I'll show you what those look like in a second on the documentation pages. So things like, you know, configuring window gaps, or there's a lot of settings in Herbstluft, so it's something that you'll have to go look at yourself if you want to use it. That's actually probably one of the more complicated things about learning how to use it. There's so many settings, and you don't really know which ones you want to use, that it can be a little bit overwhelming, and you may not feel like you're getting the kind of environment you want out of the box. I had a specific workflow in mind, so it was a lot easier for me to go look through all the settings and figure it out. So that was useful, but whenever I make a video, an end-to-end tutorial about Herbstluft Window Manager, I'm going to try to show you everything in a structured way where it's a lot easier to follow. So that's what I hope to do. We'll see. It's probably going to be a 3-hour-long video. Okay, we'll also try to do theme setting, which is very similar to setting settings variables, so that won't be very hard. Configuring key bindings, pretty straightforward and very necessary. Workspace management, and by that I mostly mean setting up your workspaces and then potentially do some automation, or at least having some functions you can use for changing the workspace, or maybe even getting the current workspace, and then possibly do some window management. Which is like, you know, setting up window splits or changing the layout, or maybe making a window floating or something like that. I don't know. We'll just experiment and see what we get in the, you know, I guess an hour and 45 minutes we have left here. Okay, so let's get going. I literally have not done any coding for this, so we're just going to get started in a file somewhere. Let's see, what can we do? Projects, code, Herbstmax. I don't know. This is a terrible name, but this is what we're going to go with for now. Herbstmax.yel. All right, so let's wow, yeah, let's save it, create the directory. Cool, now we're good. Defun. Now what I want to do is first of all, we need a function that is capable of, I'm writing scheme code here apparently, capable of sending a command to the Herbst client so that it executes it in the window manager. And to give you a little bit more background on what that looks like, if you go to the documentation for the Herbstluft window manager and look at basically the man page, or you can go to man, Schmetterling, I don't know what that means. I could just call it Shiza. Sorry. So basically oh, this is the wrong one. This is actually the window manager. What you want is the Herbst client command, which is the configuration interface. And effectively you just call the command and then you pass in the command and the arguments for what you want to do. And I believe that, okay, this one doesn't have everything, but the list of commands is in the Herbstluft WM man page. So if we go looking for the command list, oh, here we are, right here, commands. Then there's things like quit, reload, you can get the version. Let's see, what else? List commands, list key bindings. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. I mean, you can gather information from the running session. You can make changes to the running session, etc. So there's a lot you could do with this. Key bind, key unbind, mouse bind for binding mouse buttons. All kinds of stuff here. Even Boolean operators, which I think matters in certain circumstances, like setting window rules and whatnot. We won't get that far today, obviously. But that's basically what we're going to do. There's also this get and set command interface for setting settings. And there's also a settings section that tells you all of these settings that you can set with the set command. And then there's also, what else? Commands for setting the current tag, which is basically the workspace. Renaming tags. There's also monitor management, which is pretty cool. It's one feature that is in this window manager that I think is maybe not in BSPWM by default. Not sure. Error max. That's not bad. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of other stuff. We're not going to go through this whole list right now. We're just going to start with the bare minimum and then go from there. So let's see. Herbst run command. Now, let's see. How do we want to structure this? I mean, obviously, we can just say command and then execute it. In fact, let me just make sure I get my syntax right, because it's been a little while since I wrote Emacs Lisp. And then I think we can use, what is it? Process start process shell command, right? Start process shell command. I believe that's the one that I want to use for this. So start process shell command. Name, Herbst client. Buffer nil, I don't want to have a buffer for that. And then the command would be, let's just say format, Herbst client, and then command. And we'll make this a little bit more robust in just a moment, but for now, we're going to start with this. All right, so now I'm going to use eval buffer. All right, and then I can call Herbst run command. Let's say use 2. Didn't seem to do anything. Probably need to read the output, see what happens. Let's see, use tag. Oh, I've named tags, so I gotta change how I call it. So use web. Whoops. Still didn't do anything. All right. Let me just try something a little bit more direct. Use chat. In fact, let me also double check that it's on the path, because what is there's a function for that. Let's see. Find program. Whoops. Program. There's a function for finding whether a program is installed. What is it called? Find dash command? No. Executable find. I think Ashraz got it. Executable find. Thank you, Ashraz. All right. So what I'm going to run is executable find Herbst client. Okay, so it does find it. It's in my my Geeks profile, which is good. It means it should be able to launch it. So I might be doing something wrong. Let me actually take this out too. Ah, that worked. So I must have done something else wrong. So it basically switched me to my workspace 0 effectively whenever I ran this bit of code. So that works. But what did I do wrong here? Did I, let's see, format. Did I use the wrong syntax here? Maybe that's what happened. Yeah, which could work, but I want to make sure that it will find it within Emacs. Okay, so Haven't changed anything specifically about that. Run command, use web, use chat. Okay, that worked. I don't know what I did wrong. So let me try that. Use web. Yeah, that didn't do anything, but maybe I did something wrong in my config. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Something's jacked with my configuration. That's what's happening here. With my existing configuration. So, that's good. That's working. So then, now that we have this ability to run a command, it would be nice maybe if we could run multiple commands. I'm still sort of trying to decide whether I want to allow arguments separately. Let's think about that later. And then what we'll do here also is, was it rest commands? Like if you want to run a sequence of commands, we can do something like this. Let me see, commands, let's see, map car, or what is the other, I guess map car works, doesn't it? Map car, function, and sequence. So lambda command, actually no, let's just pass that in, right? Just run command, and then the commands list. All right, so if I have this, let's see if I can say use comms, use chat, use dev. Wrong number of arguments. How did I screw that up? Did I use the wrong? Yeah, that's it. Run commands. Okay, it didn't seem to get all the way back where I wanted it to. But maybe that's my fault. Hey, Jeff. And hello to Lucas. Lucas says this is his favorite window manager. Hey, Alex. Do list. Do list maybe. But MapCar's working too. Okay, so let's see what else we want. All right, so we have the simple ability to run commands. So the next thing I wanted to do is have a way to set a setting value. So defun herbst set setting is a terrible name. We're going to change that in a moment. So there's a way that I want to do this with a macro that will make things easier, I think, for a person who's writing a configuration. But we're going to write the simpler approach first, I think. Herbst set q, herbst. I'm doing a bad job of pronunciation today. All right. Wow. There's a by dash name. Kebab case whenever there is a bunch of other stuff that has snake case. So I don't know why they're a little bit inconsistent there, but yeah, that's what happens in open source projects. Okay. So if I want to set, let me look at my actual configuration. Probably that would be helpful if I showed my real configuration file. So a bunch of calls to this HC command, which is really just an alias for Herbst client. And let's see, gaps. Let me just change the gap setting. So window underscore gap. So if I say, oh, you know what? Let's just call it set. How about that? Setting name value. Suppose that's fine. Need to put some parentheses around this. Now, I might want to have a list also, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So what I'll do is call Herbst, run command, and then set. I'll also do a little bit of formatting here. And then setting name and value. This is very cheesy so far. Obviously, it's not so interesting yet, but we'll get there. Okay. You know, I think we might want to do a macro here instead. But we'll do that after we get this working. So first of all, let's say herbst set. And then the setting name I want to use would be, let's say, frame gap, frame underscore gap. And then the value I would use for that, let's call it 10. This should, you know, be pretty obvious once we start tweaking this value. Okay, so, did it work? Let's see, 20. Yeah, so that does actually work. 100. All right, so we're setting the frame gap using that command, which is pretty nice. Set it back to 10. All right. But what if we want that to look a little bit better? Like, let's say, for instance, we want to look something like herbst set, and then frame dash gap. I'm trying to think of the best way to express this. I mean, set Q, like we could call it set Q. I mean, it's not necessarily the best name for it, but at least with normal set Q, it will let you do a bunch of key value pairs. So I'll say window dash gap 0. What else? Smart frame surroundings. Probably. I mean, it would be nice if I could just say off there. So this would have to be a macro, and we can write that def macro herbst set Q, and rest setting pairs. Okay. So the result of calling this would be something like, and we could probably just get rid of the intermediate command for that because we don't really need it, but herbst set, excuse me, frame gap 10, window gap 0, and then smart frame surroundings. We'll call that off. So the implication here is that any of these symbols, there's two things that need to happen. First of all, for any setting name, we need to replace any hyphen with an underscore, which can be tricky and it may be a bad idea, but I find this to be a little bit aesthetically more pleasing to do it this way. But like I said, it might be a bad idea. And then any value that is a symbol should be converted to a string. So we just need to make sure that we're going to send things in the right form that Herbstluft expects. Okay. And if you hear me keep laughing about that, it's just because I'm saying it wrong, obviously. So it just makes me laugh. All right. So to write a macro that's going to put that out, we'll definitely use do list this time, I think. And I'm going to have to remember the syntax for do list because that's something I don't really look at very often. Oh, you know, I need to take two of them. So we're not going to be looping over one at a time. We need to actually get two. And I wonder if I should do that myself. Recursive function would be nice, but I don't think we have tail recursion. So I could just have a normal let CL loop. Yeah, I don't really have... It's better for this? All right, I'm gonna have to figure that out because I don't use CL loop, but let's just take a look. Do I actually have the library for that loaded up? To CL Mac, is that right? Okay, maybe it's right. All right, so let's put a require CL Max up here to make sure that can be imported. CL loop for val in args, cool. Gun is correcting my pronunciation. Thank you, Luft. Herbstluft, that's right. CL lib, yeah, see, that's the thing. It told me something else. Is that right? CL loop. It's the macro, CL loop. Why does it say it's coming from CL max? All right. So CL loop, and Case tells me in chat that it probably looks like, where was it? For key val in args in setting pairs by the cat. Really? Is that how it works? All right, I need to look at the docs. Hold on a second. So it's just the common Lisp loop macro. Obviously, I don't use it very often. For var in blah, blah, blah. In list by catter. Cadditor. Okay, and then there must be a body somewhere, right? Is it just after this? Let's just write this out. So how about I say message s, just to see what it does. Key val, and oh, I don't want to do message, do I? Well, ugh. Expected a CL loop keyword found. Oh yeah. All right. So how do I get a body in here? How about this info page, huh? For clauses. Okay, so then, oh, the do. All right, cool. Cool. That seems to do something. And let me call this then. Wrong type argument list p frame gap. Ah. And that's coming from which function? Cooter. Is that right though? Maybe it is right. Oh, really? Got to reference the function? I don't know. It seems to be doing the thing. Yeah, I don't think that helped. In setting pairs by catter. Trying to think about key val will take the first two elements from the list. Catter will skip two. Okay, yeah. That's right. Interesting that it still doesn't like it though. Do I need to make this a list? Because it is a list. All right, so message, setting, pairs. I know this is really stupid to do, but that's what we're gonna do. Let me comment that out, and we'll just use eval buffer instead. String p, yes, fine. List p frame gap. Then in control H E. Okay, so it did write that out. Eager macro expansion. So it's just a flat list because we're using the rest parameter setting pairs here, and the way we're calling this is basically just a flat list of key value pairs, effectively. All right, so for key val in setting pairs, don't know why it doesn't like it. So it's checking to see if it's a list, and let's see, debug on error, eh? Toggle debug on error. Okay, so let's run it again. Eval buffer. Set q cl var, cdr of cl var. It's trying to go through the list on its own. Strange. Well, let's see. What if I do that? I don't know. That's probably not right, but I want to see what it does. Void variable. Okay, that's a different problem then. So Pavel was right about this, I think. Okay, so let me check the output. Set quote. Ah. It's on instead of in. Okay, so on setting pairs. And then CDDR. Thanks, folks. Okay, so let's try that again. Eval buffer. Let's get rid of the quoted stuff here. Whoops. Oh, hello. Boom. All right, so now thank you to Case and Ashraz and Pavel for that. So now we see that we have 3 things being set here, but we still, I mean, they're not being set yet, but we at least have a macro that is able to walk through the key value pairs and identify that they are key value pairs. But we still need to do some work on them. So for instance, let's see, defun herbst. This is going to be a little internal function. And we're going to say fix setting name. Not great, but whatever. Name symbol. Or how about this? Symbol to setting name. Let's get a little scheme style name going on here. And then let me think. String replace. Replace string. No, string replace. Replace from string with toString in string. So this is, I mean, we're gonna do this simple way. It'd be nice probably to use regular expressions for this, but let's see. String replace. Let's see, from string underscore to string hyphen in string frame dash gap. Wait a second. Let's do that the other way around, and that works. Okay, so string replace, that'll do the job. So here, how about we just not even bother with a function right now because it's so easy. String replace. That was hyphen to underscore key. Okay, and if we delete this now, then eval buffer. Wrong type, argument string p. Yes, we need to change symbol to string. Probably have to use symbol name. Yeah, okay, symbol name. That works. And then key, we're going to use symbol name. All right, eval buffer. Okay, so I think that is sufficient to get the right names, at least in the majority of cases, right? All right, so now we could actually execute this, but we still need to fix that off. And off is probably fine. It'll get changed into a string at the end. So what if we just do this instead then? We can call set and then run herbst run command. Now, we need to actually make this be part of the output. So I need to use the backtick. And, ooh. Wait a second, hold on. Yeah, let's do back quote. And then we're going to format the string. Format. That should be okay. Now I'm curious if this is actually going to do the right thing. What was it? Macro expand, Emacs Lisp macro expand the form after point. No, wrong. Ah, so Pavel says then you need to change do to collect. Thank you. So in this case right here, I think we have to do collect because we want to take the result of each execution of the body and then make a list out of them effectively. And maybe I should put a prog in around this. Let me think about that for a second. So prog in. This is getting messy, but let's see if it actually works. Let's go here. Into file during parsing. Let me see what I screwed up. All right, CL loop 4. I wonder if this nested stuff is causing issues. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, because what we want is return a list. Oh, I think I need to splat this in. But that probably still doesn't solve the problem. Into file during parsing. What if I take that out? Hold on, what's going on? Did I delete something else important by accident? Okay, let me copy this. I think I deleted my example code, which I want. Yeah, all right, so let's go and paste this back in, delete that. All right, cool. CL loop, oh, right. That's right, thanks, Pavel, for that. All right, now let's try this again. I actually need to eval that before I can. Cool, I think that's right. Let's drop this down one line. Yeah, that looks good. So prog in, that will run, oh, message. Let's get that out of there. Yeah, okay, that's a nasty little holdover. So let's do this. Eval that again, and then run macro expand. Whoa, into file during parsing again. I must have missed something. Lisp hieroglyphs. Yeah, it's, you know. Wait. How do I keep deleting that? Ah, because I'm not very smart. That's why this is happening. I should be doing this. Still into file during parsing. Okay, something's wrong with that. So format, that should be the right string, I think. Hey, Adolfo, I see you. All right, let me break this down a little bit so that we can see what's in the stuff a little bit. Wait. That's not supposed to be there. Okay. And then run that again, and then macro expand. Still into file during parsing. That's fun. Works at the start of the form, does it? Well, how about that? I thought it was at the end. Okay, at any rate, it is working to the extent that it should set these things. So if I were to go back and then let's just reeval, just make sure that everything's sane. I'm gonna set this to 100. I'll set this to 50. That's probably a terrible thing to set, but all right, so that did actually work. That's pretty cool. So now we can set the various Herbstluft settings using a setQ-like command and set as many as we want, all in one form, which is pretty cool. I still don't like the fact that the macro name is so long. It's not ideal, in my opinion, but we don't need to fix that right now. Okay, so let me go back to the notes. So we wanted to do changing settings variables. Let's see if there's any other cases we need to cover for this. So a lot of just plain old variables with no sort of setting. Okay, I think here's one place where maybe you have some nested values. So focus dot client count. I think that's how these work. Even tags dot focus. Let's see. And then theme settings. So it has sort of like an object format. Visible, the object of the focus tag, equivalently the tag on the focus monitor. So maybe we should try to get that setting. I'm kind of curious of what that looks like. So tags dot focus dot name. So if we were to run herbst run command, get tags dot focus dot name. Let's just run that. We'll get rid of these other strings out of here. I don't have a way to get the output. Let's run that in eShell. How about that? So get tags dot focus dot name, right? Okay, setting. Maybe that's wrong then. There's another command I think for getting object fields, maybe. Object. How about that? Object tree. Don't want that. Children and attributes of the given object addressed by path. So atter. How about this? Okay, yeah, that's right. It's actually wrong, but I think that my configuration is broken. Ashra says, homework for David, listen to Google Translate's pronunciation of Herbstluft 1,000 times. Well, Gunn already sent me the pronunciation from was it Wikipedia? No. I forgot. Oh, Wiktionary. Get adder. Okay. Okay. So that's probably not important, but what is important is the next thing I wanted to do, which is to get theme settings. Let me go to my own auto start file here and see how I'm setting the theme stuff. All right, so we're using the HC atter to, oh, we're even setting the values there. Okay, so for setting object stuff, that's how we would go about that. So let's see. So we might want to have another macro. So herbst set adder. I know this is terrible. I don't like that. Let's see. So with themes, there's sort of like a hierarchical object format. So there's theme.tiling.something, right? And then theme.title.depth, theme.title.when. And there's other stuff like theme.active.innerColor. So there's like multiple levels of setting an object here. So what would be nice is if we could do something like theme. In fact, we could leave that off. We could say, what is it? Urgent inner color. And then we'll just take the string here. Okay. And basically just do that for everything. So what other settings do we need this for? I probably need to clean up the syntax a little bit. So let's see, what else? Just the regular stuff like theme. Probably I should just do it this way. Theme. This is not going to be for setting theme. Let's just say adder for now. So theme, urgent, theme, title font. We'll just take the string here. Fix the quotes. All right. Something like that. Just gives you the ability to set nested values without having to just run the command multiple times like that. Kay says, sounds like you need some EIEIO. Oh boy. Theme, urgent intercolor. Yeah, Tomas has a good point. We could use keywords, but I would like to be able to do nested value sets without having to continually repeat the same things over and over. So I'm sort of like trying to let you set multiple things at a particular level. So floating is a good example. Let's try to replicate this floating. Whoops, this floating right here. So if I can do something like this. So floating border width of 4. Not a great syntax. Maybe we can figure out some simplifications here. So outer color, we're gonna call it the black there. Okay, so that's an example of what this could look like without having to be too repetitive. So instead of having these nested parentheses, yeah, this is gonna be harder to loop through, I think. Because what you could do is just have it so that inside of a list that starts with a given key, you could say if the current element is not a list, then you can just treat it as a key value pair. But if it is a list, then it's like a sort of a nested object. However, I think that's starting to get a little bit nasty. So maybe we'll just stick with this for now because it'll be easier to deal with from a parsing perspective. So is there some ambiguity here? So the title font, JetBrains, and then with floating, we have, maybe we do need to use keywords. So instead of a list, we could have, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let me see if I can eat some of these things. Wow, hold on. Yeah, Lispy is getting me in trouble right now. Okay. So we got that and that. Okay. This would be nice, I think. But it's still not very clear. Because we have, well, let's see, what is... I have to look at how SXML does it. Tomas says, you can still nest, I just recommend using keywords instead of symbols so you don't have to quote those forms or process them with macros. That would be nice, for sure. I mean, you could just treat it more like a function than a macro, but let's see what we can get to with this for now. So... probably need some custom looping logic. For everything in a list, yeah. How can you tell that it's an object path here, and then there's like multiple sub objects? But then inside this list, if you're trying to do this recursively, this is also a symbol at the beginning of the list, but then there's a string after it. Yeah, there's definitely ambiguity in the syntax. I don't like it. I suppose that's what I should be doing there, right? So if you run across a keyword, then the thing right after that has to be a value. Otherwise, it needs to be a list, and then we're sort of assuming a sub-object reference. Not the cleanest thing, but I think that's easier to parse. Okay. So then, to write such a function, I don't know that we can use CL loop in the same way. I think we're probably going to have to... Yeah, it's going to be dirty, whatever it is. I don't think it's going to be very clean looking code. Is there anything that could be a little bit more regular? It'd be nice if there was a way to like pass a function to dispatch on the type of value, like a pcase type thing, or the type of entry in the list. There might be something like that in CL loop. I just don't know about it. So, if I were to really boneheadedly try to write this code, do list. Do I want to use do list? Yeah, we also need to kind of store the path, and this isn't a macro, so there's a few things that need to be done. Type case. So let's go back to the loop. Info back. What is it? CO. Okay. If condition. Oh, okay. Clause executes the following loop clause only if the specified condition is true. Wow. That's... I mean... powerful, but syntax gets a little bit weird. For x below 10, collect x into odds. I mean, we could try to do something like that. I think it could help. So let's try to take a look at what the output should look like in the end. So just like we did here. Let's do that. Let's write out what the output should look like. Well, we'll just uncomment these. Then run command after theme dot title font. Ooh, that needs to be quoted. Probably. Oops. Maybe not, but let's put it there anyway. Come on now. Okay. So that would be the first thing we would set. Then we would also have, whoops, we would also have theme.floating.border width of 4, then outer width 1, and then theme.urgent inner color. Let's see. Association lists. Let a list. Oh. Got a little bit of a backdrop issue going on here. Okay, so I think that should be good, right? Oh, this needs to be changed. This is supposed to be like this now. All right, so this is how things should look. In the output. So we're setting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. What am I missing here? Outer color. Okay. I mean, we could even expand that into a run commands call, which might be even better if I were to do something like, oh, let's do a little rectangle selection here. And then move this down to the bottom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. So that's probably more like what we want to see. So then to loop through all this, let's just copy this really quickly. And then we'll try to write the macro for it. Herbst attribute. This won't be a, well, it could be a rest. This needs to be called recursively too, which makes things more complicated. Because we have to be, there's a few responsibilities here. So building up the object path. So we kind of need to keep what the current path is based on where we are in the recursion. Yeah, maybe we should just be using recursion for this. So internally, if we were to say something like defun list, yeah, let's see, herbst to strings. Yeah, that's terrible, but let's see. Okay. And then, so all I really want to do is just walk through everything. And if I see a list, so let's just write some really dumb logic here. So if, let's see. List P, is that right? List P? Yeah, list P enter lists. Then we want to call herbst enter list to strings. Also, we want to have path, or maybe current path. We want to update that current path. So was it string append concat? Was it concat? Concat. Okay. So wait, hold on. Yeah. All right. So concat current path. Then symbol name car of atter lists. In fact, we could just test this function out pretty easily by doing this. Let me comment these out also. So let me just take this function name. And then quote this whole form. Drop it down here. Okay, so if I eval buffer, I don't know what it's going to do. Probably throw an error. Wrong number of arguments, lambda current path, attribute lists. Okay. Yeah, my function is not well formed at the moment. Concat. Oh yeah, need the. Let's see. Would it be like catter on adder lists? Bump, 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 bump. It's not going to return anything just yet. So we also need an else case. So if it's not Then check to see if it's a keyword, right? Car of attr lists. Then what we want to do after that is to set the value. So I think we need to like keep a list of strings. So obviously it needs to be a loop. So I'll have to add something like that in a second. Do list command 1, 2. Yeah. Thomas is saying that I could just use do list for the commands thing. I could definitely do that. I sort of do that already. Okay, so if keyword P, let's just write something out. I don't care. I just want to see something on the screen. So message set. And then we're just gonna say car attr lists. This is gonna be terrible, so just so you know. Wrong number of arguments. That's the right number of arguments. Oh, I didn't start with the empty path. Attr list to strings. Attr list to strings. Why not? Oh, need the double hash there, or hyphen. Title font, wrong argument type list. Ah. Say what? It's supposed to be in the recursive call. Let's see. Yes, the recursive call. List of strings, theme. I think I made a mistake there. Because I want to get the thing after the name, right? Oh, yes. So if the list is a list, yeah, so this needs to be a catter, right? All right, let's run eval buffer. Wrong argument type list P. So title font. Doesn't stop running, does it? Oh, the check, the keyword P check. It doesn't like it. And ugh. Yeah, this is not good. See you, Jeff. I'm trying to think if there's a better way to do this. I mean, obviously, I could try to go into the vagaries of the CL loop function, but I kind of want to avoid that because it's going to be even more difficult, probably. So the thing we're going to try to do, see if keyword P car attribute lists. Let's see. How about this? No, let's leave it alone. I don't like the name of the function. I think it just makes things confusing. So if it's list, how about I just do this? Let's just change it. Attr lists to current item. Okay. Current path, current item. If the current item is a list, so we've passed in the whole list here, then yes. Then we call herbst attribute list to strings, and we take the current path. Let's just add a little message here. Eval buffer. Yep. Then let's take a look at the messages buffer. Path title font. That's not right, is it? Ah, I think I'm going too far. So it's not going to be catter here. It's going to be car. I think we got in trouble with that one last time, though. Eval buffer. Okay, so path theme. That's correct. So car of current item. It's the first thing. The first, just the symbol name, basically. And then the... Oh, nah. We just want the cdr, right? We want the whole thing. So let's do this. Eval buffer. Symbol P, JetBrains mono. Okay, now this is where we're getting into the interesting stuff. Let's go down here. All right, so theme, title, font. How am I concatenating these things together? Because that shouldn't be a colon. How do I even get a colon in there? Oh, it's the keyword. Okay, so... no, what? Right. Concat current path symbol name. Oh boy. If keyword P car current item. This is gonna get nasty. Keyword keyword name? No. How do you get the name of a keyword? Oh, come on. Keyword P object. Format S thing. Yeah, how do you get the colon off the front? Because this doesn't seem to work. Symbol dash name. Yeah. Symbol name and then rip the first character off. Substring from to. Okay. String from to. So let's do that. Then substring 1. That's what it is. So substring. Yeah, I don't like this. Too much repetition, but you know. We're trying to do it fast, so we'll have a little bit. Let me put this outside and then put a 1 there. Okay, let's try to run this time. So symbol name, whoops, let's put this right there. And then also for concat, let's put a little period in right here, and I'll drop this down also so it's a little bit clearer what's going on. Oh no, don't want to do that. Okay. Fine. Press enter. Let's go. Do it this way. Okay, that's fine. So with a path, we kind of want it to have a dot at the end so that when we concatenate it with the keyword for the value name, it will have everything it needs. So here, let's see, set. We never even get the set, do we? So if current item, let me see what the error is that I'm getting here. Hello, Richard. Oh, simple name? Is that what it is? Simple name? No. Ah, okay. Now I see what you were correcting. Okay, so symbol name, wrong argument type. Where is that? It's right. If list P current item, well, it will be a list P because we're using cdr here, which I think we need to. So if list P current item, I don't think it will ever be anything other than that. So I think what we need to do is assume, well, okay, so it's after a list here. We should assume that what we got here is a list. Okay. I'm starting to see where this is going to go now. All right, so car, current item. That could even be current list at this point. This is going to be symbol P. Then we're going to do the recursive call. So if symbol P, concat current path. This won't be a keyword P here because we're doing this at a higher level. So we'll check keyword P here. And if it is keyword P, then we could do the set. We could take this little piece here as well. See, car current item, car current item. I don't like having to repeat that. We're gonna have to use a little let somewhere, I think. And we don't need this, don't need this. Okay, so that looks better. Cooter current item. Let's try running this. Ooh. Okay, so it did something. Title font. Why did it? That's not right. Car current item. It's current path, symbol name, car current item. If symbol P, hold on. Symbol P, blah. Aha. Okay, so I need to check if it's keyword first, apparently. So let's take, I need to, man. It would be nice if I knew all the nice keywords for in Lispy for rotating all this stuff around, because I definitely need to rotate these if expressions around. Let's just do this. Okay, got that. And then delete that. Take that. Put it right here. Set current path. Okay, maybe that will work. Okay, theme.title font. Cool, that worked. Now, the next thing is to continue to recurse. So at this point, we've set something. We can't just stop there. We got to keep going. So I think we need to do a little prog in and then do another recursive call here. We also need to bail out if when list P, let's see, list P nil, huh? No. Pair? Is pair a function in Emacs Lisp? Pair? No. Const P? Yeah. That's probably what I want. When const P current item. Okay. So I want it to stop whenever we get to nil. So let's say we have, hold on. Am I thinking of scheme? So cooter of an empty list. What is that? Nil. Okay. I guess I could just say like unless nil P. No. Whatever. When, yeah, that's what I was thinking just now too. Just use when current item instead. Cool, that works. All right, so when current item, if keyword P, that will do the setting. And then we also need to call herbst attribute list to strings. Current path, we're not gonna update the path because we're still looking at what's coming next. Cooter current item. Now, we need to get the value as well. So I'll do another S. and then grab the catter of current item. And then I think this needs to be the kditor, if I'm not mistaken. All right, set theme. Yeah, so that looks right. Maybe I need to have special handling for string values, like to put some quotes around them, just in case. But I'm not worried about that for now. We still need to figure out why this is not continuing past. So let's take a look here. So title font, JetBrains mono. All right, we get to this point. And we should call, let's see. Message, next. Let's see what that gives us. Floating border width. Oh, did I never check? Okay. So if it's keyword P, maybe I should do a catter here, huh? Oh, okay. It did go recursively though, I just saw that. Oh, border width 4, okay. Yeah, all right, so I can't be so heavy-handed. I'm gonna have to do another check here, probably. If list P, car current item, then I think I'll just have to call recursively, right? You just step into it. So herbst after list 2 strings, current path. This is really not so great. Boom. Okay, so how far do we get? Not very far. What isn't it like? Theme dot if current item progin if list P void. Oh, keep putting the wrong function name in. Let's put that extra dash here. Oh, well, it didn't crash, did it? But it also didn't go any further, so let's just write out what the current item is every time, just to know what we're looking at. Oops, eval buffer. Oh, okay. It's making its way through a little bit. Next, floating border width 4. All this type checking should be in CL typecase since you already have imported CLlib. Yeah, well, it would be nice if I could simplify it after we get to that point. I feel like that is what we need to do. Yeah, Fade, I'll take a look at that once we get this working. Because I think that I just need to get the basic logic happening. We're almost there. We're not really as far along as I would like to be, but I think this is kind of an important part because it makes theme setting really easy. Okay, so when current item, if list P, we're going recursive with a kditor of current item. Now, I don't think that's right, because what happens here if this is a list, we need to step into it. Oh, you know, we're not looping, actually. That's another problem here. So for each item at the current level, we need to be doing like a do list or something. Yeah. Map C partially apply. Woo. Maybe. Let me think for a second here. So we're trying to walk into this floating. And there's two things here. We need to get into both, but let's just deal with the first one for now. So next is floating. And then we get into current. We check that it's list P. Maybe it's car, actually. That's not right. Or this needs to loop. Yeah, I think that part needs to loop for sure. Okay, so that makes sense. Let's do this. Eval buffer. Okay, so we did get set theme, floating border width, floating outer width, floating outer color. Cool, so some of it's working correctly. The urgent did not work. That's because we're not looping inside of the list. So we set the title font, we set the floating values. And we did not set urgent. Okay. And another thing here, which I've forgotten to deal with, is that we need a string that represents the, or actually a list. So commands. And the first time we call this, it needs to be called with an empty list. It's like our accumulator value. Ugh, okay, let me think about this for a second, because we can't set that directly. Anytime we recursively call the function, we're gonna have to concatenate the result back with a list, which is gonna be a lot of fun here. I guess we could do it here though, right? So that would return something, that would return something, that would return something. So if we assume they all return a list with the last form, we could say cons, commands, and then finally when we get to, ooh, it's not gonna work, is it? I suppose it could. Cons, format. Let's try that. We're gonna const that. Wait, hold on. No, hold on. Append? Yeah, okay, we want append. Whoa, don't do that, Lispy. Append. This needs to be a list, right? All the arguments make the result a list. Each argument be a list, vector, or string. Yes, okay. So this needs to be a list. We just have a single item list. Let's get rid of that. Or we could put it there. Maybe we'll comment it out for now. Append list, and then whatever comes out of this function. So we'll do a little if here also. If current item, then at the very end, we'll return an empty list. Okay. So const commands. What are we consing with? We're gonna const. Yeah, I don't really want to const, do I? Use append here too, I think. So append. Current path, current item, key, command, nil. Yeah, that could work too. That could work. So append commands. If list p, we're gonna append whatever comes out of here. So that should be a list. Here we're appending this list with a list that comes out from the response of another function, and then this one also should return a list. So, okay, this is. Let's run this and see if it actually works still. No, of course not. Ah, that's because all of these. Hold on. I don't need to pass this through anymore. Do I? We're building it bottom up recursively, so maybe this doesn't need to be passed. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah. Okay. Anytime we recursively call the function, we have to append the result with whatever is being produced by the current function. Sorry, folks. You didn't think you were going to get into some recursive coding today, did you? Okay, so current item. Then we're going to return an empty list otherwise. Okay, so that will give us an empty list at the end, which is good. Let's run it again. All right, we got something. Current. Oh, and I'll probably need to write out the result. Can you paste the theme data structure to the chat? Oh, it's on a different machine. Give me 1 second. Message. All right, so result. Yuck. Why did it write it out like that? I mean, that's right, but it's not the best way to print this out. I want to see the individual strings. Ah, okay. How about this? Map car. Lambda. Whatever. Okay. Format, command, S. What did I do wrong? Okay. Eval buffer. Come on. What happened? Sequence is the second parameter. Lambda S. Oh, message, sorry. Okay, cool. All right, so we can see now. Yes, message is what I was supposed to do. We at least have these 4, so that would actually run successfully at this point. We're building up that list correctly, but we're missing some things, specifically the urgent part of this, because I need to also loop through the remaining parts of this list and concat everything that comes through. So what should I do there? If it's a list, do we assume from that point forward that they should all be lists? That's a little bit of a dangerous assumption, but I think it's probably the most reasonable assumption to make. So what I mean by that is, at this point where we set floating, you can't go and then say, oh, I want to set title name here as well. So here, see map car, map. Apply function to each element of sequence and make a list of the results. So yes, I basically want to use mapcar. But I need to concatenate all the lists, right? So it would be a list of lists instead of, let's see, is there a reduce function? Yeah. Reduce 2-argument function across sequence. Let's see. Function sequence keyword value. Oh, function is obsolete. Use CL reduce. No thanks. Seek reduce. Huh? That looks more like it. Reduce a function across sequence starting with initial value. Okay. And then function takes probably 2 arguments, right? Function with initial value and the first element of sequence. Because what I really want is to append all of them together. So, let's see. Yeah, like a map car that wrapped with a reduce. Map car. Okay. Yeah, map car. We're going to pass in this function as the function to be called. Need to put a little thing in front of that. Then, current item. Nope. Yeah, that could work. And then reduce. And with reduce, I think we want to reduce append, right? Does that work? And initial value is empty list. Let's see what that does. Oh, wrong number of arguments. Current path, current item. Apply append. Yeah. That's actually probably the better option in this case. Apply append. And then the result of the map car. Okay, so let's not get too fancy here. I think the reduce call is probably what bit me at that moment. We don't need this. Let's see. Wow. Still. Wrong number. Oh, okay. I'm missing the. Oh, crap. Can't be elegant, can it? Subs. Lambda. Starting to lose it here. So I need to call this function with current path and then item, right? So we'll just say item here. Let's run this. Okay, maybe that worked. Messages. So I think we got it. So theme, title font, theme, floating, border width, outer color, and then the urgent inner color. So, it looks like basically what we were. Oh wait, inner color. Ah, yeah, that's right, actually. And probably need to do the name mangling that I wanted to do. So instead of having to do the underscores, we could do hyphens instead, which would be nice. I even did it here on inner color. Is that in my actual config? No, I just did that sort of by rote. Okay, so let's change that. And the macro for this is basically just going to be something that calls into this list of strings. So I can return the list of strings, and then I don't even need to prog in here. I can just say herbst run commands, and then splat in the result of herbst. Well, that's a little bit dangerous. I should probably check to see if it's an empty list first. But run commands should also not run anything. Yeah, empty list should be a no op. Okay, so list to strings And that should be it, right? Whoop, don't do that. Delete that. Okay, cool. So that's a pretty simple macro because everything else is being done by this inner function. And I need to have an empty path and also the iterlists variable passed in there. And that should do the trick for that part of it. So I could actually run this now, I think. Well, no, I still need to fix the name mangling stuff a little bit. And I also need to rip off the... Well, I could do that here, right? So I have the code for pulling this off. So what if I do the same thing? I use the string replace. Go back to substring. Okay. Well, no, let's not do that. Let's just put that right there. String replace. And we're going to get rid of the symbol name key and put this substring part in instead. Okay. Can I still execute this file? Okay, so it did actually do the changes on those, which is great. All right, let's comment this one out then. Curious to see what's going to happen when I run the real thing. So this should actually make it do something. So let's see if I run eval buffer. Oh, okay. Let's go to where it's writing out current. Let's just get that out of there. All right, so I think that did something. So the only way to tell, where is the setting for the active color? Turn on rainbow mode. I need to see what colors we're looking at here. Inner color, outer color. Okay, so if I change the outer color, will it do something? Outer color. Let's say F. I'm sorry, no. I want that to be red. F. No. Leave rainbow mode. Eval buffer. Okay, so it didn't seem to have an effect. I'm trying to see outer width 1. Let me just change that. Oh, let's just leave that the way it is. Outer color, theme, outer color, inner color, theme.active.color, C7. Should be one of these. Inner color, outer color. Let's just try this then. Inner color. Still not seeing it. C792. Where else is that being used? Frame border active color. Now, that's kind of weird that this is a variable to be set. Should be the theme deciding that, I would think. Let's go look at the docs. So, theme. It's only an alias for the attribute theme.innerColor. I think I probably screwed that up. So, frame border active color. Okay. Doesn't say that that one is frame border. We could set that, but it's not very interesting. I'm trying to think of what else we could set with the theme to see a result. I mean, certainly we could set the, well, let's see. So the pixel size of 12. Let me show you something really quick. What program can I run? I'm going to run GIMP. So ooh, that's ugly. So we've got 2 tabs open here, basically. Let me change the pixel size of the font. I feel like something's wrong with that. Let me also put some quotes around the string, just in case. Okay, that fixed that. I'm gonna change this to 24. Okay, and in this font, you probably can't see it very well, but up there, that font is being changed. It got bigger, so we've set it at 32. And if you pay attention to where it says GNU image manipulation program, run eval buffer, it got bigger again. There's also a setting for the title height, right? So title height, theme, oh, it's even a theme setting, great. So title height, 32 pixels. What did I have it before, 15? Yeah, so that's working. 40. And then there's like a padding or something. Space below the title bar. Pixels below title text. Title depth, let's see. Title depth 10, does that work? Yeah, it seems to help a little bit. 15. Yeah, so as you can see, now I'm actually able to use the code that we wrote to interactively tweak the settings for the window manager. So that's pretty cool. And it's, I mean, you could say that it's better to write that than to write a bunch of these individual lines because you don't have a bunch of repetition with all the text. So I'm not thrilled with the name of the function. Let's see. Maybe I could just change it to that and feel a little bit better about it. Set attributes. Oh, just eval buffer. Boom. Okay. Is there any padding on the side? Because I don't like that. Title color. Title padding. Title left. It says it right here. Border width. Inner color, inner, oh. Title width. Title align, title decoration. Yeah, I don't see a way to affect the padding here, but maybe there is a way, I just don't remember. Oh, how about the inner width? There it is. So outer color, inner width, 10. That's not what I wanted. Uh-oh. Now I have to go figure out what I set. Inner width, 1? 0? Okay, and then what is it? Outer width, 10? Okay, there's some weird settings here. Put that back to 0. Oh, how about 1? How about 2? Yeah, that's a little bit easier to see on this screen, I think. 3 is good too. Okay. These two aren't working, I think, because of the frames. Let's use, what is it, Super U? Yeah, that's still not showing me anything. But anyway, I think that, you know, it's pretty good. Piotr says, well done. The best way to write a macro, in my opinion, just pass the args into a regular function ASAP. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot easier to test a macro body whenever you can just turn it into a normal function call, and then you can just call it with a quoted list. Makes things a lot easier. So I think I can take this prog in out here. I'll just clean up the code a little bit. So we got about 10 minutes left. What would be nice is if I could show how to make this run as a script for startup, but I don't know if it's going to be easy to do that. So let's see. Auto start. So there is a way. Let's see. Emacs Lisp script. I think it's on the Emacs wiki. They have just like a quick little thing that tells you what to use at the top of the file. So I don't think that works in Geeks. Env. No. Let's see. Maybe it does work. Or I could actually, let's see. How about this? User bin env Emacs script. That might work. Actually, okay, gotcha. All right, that probably will work. Let's just do this really quick. So message, it worked. I don't know if that's actually gonna write it out correctly, but go into eShell, and then let's go into this folder, code, okay, and then Emacs, no, chmod x auto start. No such file or directory. To pass options in shebang lines -v. Env command. You know, maybe I should just do this on like the v term. Run a program in a modified environment. That's not right. -s. I think that's right, isn't it? Okay, so that loaded up everything. I kind of want to let's see, Emacs-Q. Okay, cool. So that's a basic script that can be run as just a normal auto start. So that could be used as the startup script for this program. Let's see, current directory. How did I do it for the org to OX website script? That's a good question. I don't actually have that repo. Do I have the repo pulled down here? Don't think so. I think that was on another computer. All right, so current directory. No, what is it? Ugh. Default directory. This is probably not gonna work right, but let's try this. It would be nice to have the script loaded in the current directory. I'll tell you why. So then, Herbstmax. Is it the way I typed it? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Using the built-in IL mode for coding demos, it can interleave return values in the output of the message command. Yeah, I probably should do that, but I'm just more comfortable just running things in the shell. All right. This is going to be hacky, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, what is it, load? Just plain old load? Okay. Load projects code herbstmax herbstmax.el. And then I can take some of that stuff that I had in the .el file and put it here instead. Get rid of that. And then do this. So in theory, it should actually do the right thing. Okay. So if I were to change this back to 24 and run this script, which we'll see if the font size goes down. Yeah, okay, so that will actually work. I think that you could use this autostart.el file and load up this library just using the normal load command. Now, obviously, if you want to do this a better way, you would just set up a, you would add a folder or the folder for this package, or install the package, or however you would end up getting it. Make sure it's on your load path and then require the package, which also means I need to go down here and say provide herbstmax, put a little quote in front of that. Let's delete some of this other stuff here. So we didn't get to everything that we could possibly get to, but I think this is a good basis for anything else you might want to do, because you could use run command to mess with workspaces. And then if you can set attributes and you can set settings, then you could basically configure the whole window manager using Emacs Lisp. And I might start doing this. I might actually make this into a real package and start using it for my own configuration, because I think it might be kind of fun to use it instead of writing that bash script. Let's put it back to 32 here. Just make sure everything still runs the same way. Yep, works. This inner color, outer color stuff's not working. I'll just take it out. And that's pretty much it. Let's check my notes. Is there anything else really interesting we could do? Let's see. Configure key bindings. Key bindings. Let's just quickly look at what a key binding would be. So key bind mod backspace. So yeah, it would be nice to have a convenient syntax for that. Something that it could look like is similar to like define key. So herbst define key. Then where's my auto start? There we go. So anything like this. So if you had, it'd be nice to use Emacs' own key syntax. So like I would use super and shift. What is it? I don't even remember what tab. That's a terrible. But let's use this one instead. Let's use cycle instead, because that will be easier to follow. So cycle. So this would be super C for cycle. And we would obviously want to make it so that you could have multiple. So like super I would go to, what is the command? Jump to urgent. I don't even use that. Jump to urgent. So things like that, right? Just have another macro that could, or function, I guess. This could be function. Yeah, doesn't need macro. That could just set key bindings in a very simple syntax. If you could read the Emacs syntax and turn that into the requisite syntax here, which it may be very similar, so you may not need to do that. This whole like $mod thing is actually because this bash script sets the mod to, let's see, where does it set that? Mod equals, yeah, mod 4. So you would have to do mapping between the S for super to mod 4. So any keys, yeah, we'd probably do a little processing on the string to make sure that it does the right thing. But yeah, that would be basically it, I think. So we could have a super Q for close and remove. Yeah, so just typical stuff, just have one little form for setting all those up. And we'll just call this speculative key binding syntax. Cool. Benoit says, it would be interesting to see a Guile scheme version so it would integrate with Geeks Home. So here's my thinking on that. I mean, definitely you could do the same thing with Guile to do this for Geeks Home, but it would be better, in theory, to configure the Emacs package using Geeks Home. And I think that in the RDE repo, there is some code that will allow you to change or to take a form of scheme and turn it into Emacs Lisp. So you can basically templatize it and just write it out directly without having to think too much about it. But, writing Emacs Lisp configuration directly into scheme files doesn't sound like fun, and there's like a delicate balance to be struck there. I still haven't gotten far enough along in my config to have an opinion on that yet, so it would be useful, but I think you would have to find the right balance. Okay, I think I got to get out of here now, but let me just copy this stuff over to the org file for the show notes. So if anybody wants to take a look at this code, you should feel free to do that. And let's see, the auto start file. We'll just make that an Emacs Lisp block also, because it is auto start. And there we go. So now you've basically got a starting point for that. So if you want to take this code and use it, please feel free. I'll probably do something with it at some point, but lately I don't have a lot of time, so I haven't done too much system crafting on my own. But this is sort of the things I have in mind. Let me just run through some chat messages before I sign off here. Gun says, exercise, kutter, 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 hook, 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 luft, 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 Herbstluft. Benoit says, oh yeah, we got that one. I think it's Kirill, right? Kirill? Watching the Emacs Essential videos, thank you for the content. You're welcome. Benoit says, it's more about not using Emacs to bootstrap the window manager. Yeah, I mean, having to launch Emacs to bootstrap your window manager is kind of a weird thing to do, but, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I do, so what can I say? All right, folks, that's it for today. I will try my best to have the video out about presentations in Emacs this upcoming week. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but I'm going to see what I can do to get that out, because I would really like to get it out. A lot of people have been asking about it, so I want to do that. And then hopefully I'll be back for another stream next week, but I might be going out of town, so we'll have to see. I'll let you know on the YouTube channel, the community tab or whatever. If you just go to the YouTube app, it will tell you if I posted anything. And that's it. Thanks so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all the people who were helping in the chat whenever I was fumbling around with all the macro writing. But I'm pretty happy with what we accomplished, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you.